Hi, this is Patrick here in Huntington Beach again. This will be part 2 of about salesmanship video and ways you can sell things. And I'm on just off of Main Street here. This is kind of cool. They even paint these little electrical boxes, a mural on them. Do that all the way around? I think so. Yeah. Coral and fish swimming. Real beachy town, Huntington Beach. You know, bicycles for sale. Just built this new building over here across the street. Just starting to lease that. They started when the sickness began, so it took them a while to get that going, getting people in there. But big, huge bike shop there called Jack's. There's another new building going in over there, and it's a fun street. It's doing real well considering what it's had to go through here. A lot of people here ride the cruiser bikes, thick tires and custom cruisers, a lot of skateboards, surf shops. This is Huntington Beach. I'm going to get on the other side here away from the sun. You know, it's funny, I mean, this all seems normal to me and probably kind of odd to other people, especially if you live in the Midwest or something. I remember when I was in Oklahoma, I was in a restaurant and they had a surfing theme. And I mentioned on the wall there was a boogie board, and somehow I mentioned it, and all the people at the table looked at me. What's a boogie board? I mean, that's like second nature to you if you live in California. There's like millions of boogie boards, and in fact, I met him, Tom Moore, the person that invented the boogie board, when I had my surf shop, and I went down to buy a few from him, and it was interesting. He was like starving back then. Cool surfboards for sale here. But he was really starving in the beginning, and then he ended up, you know, just making a ton of money. But in the beginning, oh man, his kids were sleeping on the foam that you make the boogie board. Boogie board's kind of like a raft, but it's like, I don't want to say styrofoam, but it's a soft polyurethane foam that you can bend around. That's the kind of advantage of it when you're riding a wave. You can bend it to sort of fit the wave, and it's comfortable to lie on. And all his house, all the furniture was just scraps from boogie boards that he had glued together to make furniture. And he was just running, I think it was last money to run a few little ads to promote it, and slowly caught on, and they're all over the world, and he made a fortune. Oh, look at this car. They have the street's closed off tonight. You get on this other side of the street like I said I would. They have it closed off. They have outside eating and a street fair. And we're walking down to the pier here in Huntington Beach, and we're like 2 blocks away right now. And they have an ice skating rink, I understand, too, on the pier. I mean, actually, in the last video I showed the Passaic Hotel. They have one there, too, on the corner. Within 2 blocks, they have 2 ice skating rinks, so they just bring this in for Christmas time, holidays. And let's see, what can I tell you about selling things? It was funny in the last video I had mentioned, or the video before, I talked about stress and not getting so stressed out. And you know, some days with this sickness going on, you get just mad at people, and people seem like extra rude. And I said, you know, you feel so bummed sometimes. You come home and you go, I just hate people. And then next thing you know, there's a knock on your door and your neighbor comes over and goes, yeah, I made a carrot cake and I made one for you too. And I go, oh wow, so nice, but you spoiled it because now I can't hate people, you know. And it was funny, I'd done that video, and then last night, neighbor called me and she had made cream puffs, big, huge cream puffs. I haven't had one of those in so long. And goes, yeah, I have an extra one. Will you like one? I go, yeah. That was I was already full from dinner, but I couldn't resist. I go, yeah, it was so good. If you're listening, Marcia, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I remembered, well, she listens to my videos. Maybe that mentioning that carrot cake had given her an idea about the cream puff, you know. And so now I'm going to start mentioning more things that, you know, that would be great that I'd really like. You know, I've always wanted a Rolex watch. So anyway. So I don't know if they have the regular street fair here tonight or not. I think they just have the outdoor eating here tonight. But you'll notice the stores are all pretty full in here. Things are doing pretty well here in Huntington Beach. Not so much on the next street. The next street all went out of business, and the second floor of the Pacific City just didn't make it either. But a lot of people still go surfing and still go to the beach and still buy T-shirts and flip-flops and whatever. And yeah, when I had the surf shop, it was funny because skateboards were really big when I had it back then, and they still are. But I had the market cornered. I was just so early into it, and we could get all the wheels we wanted, but we couldn't get the trucks, the metal part that mounts the wheels to the boards, and it was frustrating because you could sell a lot more if you got the trucks. And they're made by a company called Metaflex, and the guy that was distributing would just limit each shop to just a few, you know. And this guy that was buying all these wheels, he was a pretty smart guy. He owned this big sporting goods store in Torrance, up the coast a bit, and he started advertising the skateboards on the radio and really marketing them. And he had like maybe 10, 12 stations with a person on each station selling the skateboards and putting them together for the kids, and kids waiting in line. But it was frustrating to him, he couldn't get the trucks either. And we got to know him, and he didn't really know much about skateboarding or surfing, but he just saw that was a hot thing and jumped on it. And he decided to make his own trucks. He had lots of money, and he started making them, and he made them like the trucks the Metaflex everybody liked, but he had to change the 3 things to make them legal. So he changed and made a thicker axle on it, and something else, and they called it Excalibur and put an X on it. And he couldn't sell them. All the kids wanted Metaflex. They all wanted the Metaflex. And he called me up and he goes, well, can I come down and talk to you? So he comes down and he goes, I can't sell these. You know, I've got tens of thousands of these trucks. I can't sell them. And what should I do? And I said, well, okay, here's what you do. The skateboarding is just kicking off now. So start taking out full-page ads in the skateboard magazines and the surfing magazines, and take a picture of the truck and have it on black velvet, and you put some purple spotlights on it, just to make it look as rich as you can. Underneath in big fancy letters put Excalibur, and above the picture in the biggest, boldest type that you can possibly find, write the best. And you know, he did it. I mean, just these ads everywhere, and they looked really good. And they really started selling. And one day I was in the surf shop, and a kid comes in, and he wanted to buy some Excalibur trucks. And I was over in the skateboard corner, and I go, yeah, I'll get them for you. And reached down, they're all out. The boxes are completely empty. And I go, oh, we're out of them. Well, how about the Metaflex? And he goes, no, I want the Excalibur. I go, why do you want the Excalibur? He goes, because they're the best. Advertising. Advertising is just put time and thought in your advertising. You'll learn a lot and you'll sell a lot, but you gotta just not be too quick with it. Look at this, check this out. Isn't this cool? Ice skating at the foot of the pier with the ocean right behind you. And then they have little shops down here too, a little tent setup that people selling their artwork and different things. We'll go through there too, actually. But I remember when I sold my surf shop, the person that bought it owned the second largest trucking line in the United States, and he wanted me to stay there 1 month to help him, because I wanted to do stand-up comedy. That's why I sold the shop. I don't want to do it anymore. I just like to surf, but I don't want to have a shop. I have enough real estate, I don't have to work, and I'll sell you the business, and I'll work there 1 month and give you my ultimate best, or a few more weeks over that if I have to, but I don't want to sit there forever, you know. So he hired this manager that used to work for him in the trucking line, and the guy was really nice, but he just didn't relate to the kids, and he was kind of a little selfish, you know, and he'd come up to the kids, and these are like surfers, and he'd go, can I help you, son? You know, look at this guy. You know, oh no, just looking. And he goes, well, if you don't see what you want, let me know, because we're not doing our job. Kids are just kind of going, what? Who is this guy? And then I remember once I was at the front counter, and this guy's buying all this resin, and we sold all the materials to make surfboards. He's buying resin and the blanks that you make the surfboards out of and the fiberglass and everything. Right, just a regular customer. He sells surfboards to other people after he makes them, and the guy that took over the manager, he goes, "Hello, son," and the guy just turns his head to me. Turns his head looking at me, and looks away from the guy. Just doesn't even answer him back, and just said, "You sell the shop?" I go, "Yeah." You know, you got to relate to your audience, you know, and whatever they're about, you got to relate to them, and you show them why your product is the best. I collect this artwork from an artist called Carl Barks. Great artist. The DuckTales shows with Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck and all that's based on his stories. Steven Spielberg, George Lucas collect them. Just the greatest stories in the world, and he became an artist. He lived to be 99 and a half years old. In the last 30 years of his life, he was an artist. And he paints these stories with the ducks and all the adventures that they went on. But every once in a while, I will see somebody that advertises and calls it Carl Banks. I go, "You're selling this expensive artwork and you can't even get his name correctly?" I mean, you know, and then it gets in the wrong category in eBay and no one sees it. Now, if you're buying Carl Barks artwork, you look on eBay in Carl Banks, because you'll find it's something that got mispriced and in the wrong area, and you might get a good deal on it. So, isn't this cool? You get real close so you can really see this here. When's the last time you guys were ice skating? Tell me, I want to know. I don't ask many questions, but comment on that. Tell me when the last time it was you went ice skating. This is so cool right here at the beach. That street right next to that is the Strand that isn't doing very well. All the stores are pretty much empty on that street, except the one on the corner, Rip Curl. That's about it. I guess we should walk out on the pier a little bit. I made some notes because it was funny. I started thinking about the surf shop last night. I haven't thought about it much in a long time, and I go, what else can I talk about with that? And let me show you here. Still quite a few cargo ships. Helicopter going flying by in the sky. So I'm gonna catch that. This is an area where people just hang out, and you know, they'll play drums here. Sometimes they'll get like 30, 40 people playing drums all together. Or on the weekend, they'll show movies and bring a big screen in there. Yeah, when that guy took the surf shop over, it was funny because if I liked employees and thought they knew what they're doing, I just give them free rein, just stuff I didn't have to do, and I loved their ideas. And a lot of the people that worked for me became clothing designers and just really creative people. And the guy that was the new manager that took it over, he just couldn't get it or relate to them, unfortunately. He just wasn't open-minded enough, and you have to be. And I remember the shop used to do these coolest ads of these surfers, and they were wearing all the hip clothing with the long baggy shorts before anybody wore that kind of clothing, you know, with bright colors and polka dots and just wild stuff. And, you know, maybe they throw a cigar in their mouth. They just had fun with the whole thing and the idea of it all, you know. And we were selling so many boards we couldn't even make it. So many surfboards. It was crazy. I mean, we had such a backlog, you know, and everything was going great. And I gave it to him and all the same people working, and he had to change it, you know. He had to go, he looked at other ads and go, he started writing the ads himself, you know, top performance, high quality equipment. It just looked so corny to the surfers. He just couldn't relate at all, and you have to relate. It's so important. And I think that's the biggest thing in advertising, just to create ads that really fit the person and the person you're trying to sell things to and what they're looking for. And there's one other last thing I'll leave you with. Always be really nice to people. I mean, I had the surf shop. I'd make it maybe an exception once a year. I'd go every year I could get mad at one person or do something. I mean, one time I was surfing up here in Huntington, I got into some fight with some guy, not physical, but it was kind of like that, you know. And I went back to the surf shop that day and closed the whole store, and took all the employees who all went up to Hollywood. had vegetarian food and went to a movie together. And the next day, everything was back normal, and the guy and I became friends. And but it's not worth it. And I remember one that was kind of funny was I only do one of these a year. But this lady came in, and I was in the shop. It was when I first was starting out, and I had really good prices. And I had all the skateboard wheels that everybody wanted, and just a ton of accessories that everybody needed and wanted for their skateboards. And this lady came in, and she just started hassling me to death, about the skateboard wheels, and if I was overcharging her, and was her son being taken advantage of, and she didn't trust me, and she wants to walk around and shop, and her son's going, wait, it's the best store in Newport Beach, and everybody goes here, and the prices are really, really good. And I want to go look around. Anyway, she comes back with her son. Her son's real nice. About an hour later, and she bought the four wheels and the trucks from me, and the son's all happy, and she's happy. And this is kind of mean. This is something you shouldn't do, but I couldn't resist. And she thank you, and barely a thank you as she walks out, like she's doing me the biggest favor in the world, And then as she leaves, I go, oh, you should have bought them earlier because they were cheaper. She goes, what? I go, oh, yeah, they were cheaper earlier. And she goes, what are you talking about? I go, well, after you left, I just figured, God, if I got to go through all this, I'm going to raise the prices up a little bit. And she's all mad. So she returned them. And I go, oh, fine, here's your money back. And then the son's going, well, where are you going to go buy them, Mom? There's way more money everywhere else now. And he's just nagging her all the way out to the car, which I loved. So anyhow, the big thing is to be nice to people. And to this day, from the surf shop, I don't know what, it's been 30 years or something now, when I was living in Oklahoma, my mom was in a little nice apartment on a house on Balboa Island on the bayfront, and she loved it. She just couldn't have been more happy. And I had bought some houses from the person who owned the house. They were a realtor, and they treated my mom like gold. Everything was great. And the city did some project where they started tearing up the street. Anyway, they did with all their drills and bits and everything. They cracked the part of the house really bad, and the house couldn't be occupied after that. So my mom suddenly had nowhere to live. And anyway, so I've got to call the city, and I'm going to come moving back to California to help my mom and get her squared away. And I talking to different people, and they said the name of the guy, I don't know if you see these cargo ships out here. So the name of the guy you're going to talk to is so-and-so, and he's the hardest guy in the world to deal with. He doesn't do anything nice for anybody. You're just not going to believe how difficult he would be to deal with. And I call up from Oklahoma, and I go, yeah, this is Patrick Hannafin. And my mom's house he interrupts me, he goes, Patrick Hannafin? I go, yes. And he goes, oh, we used to go in your surf shop all the time. You were so nice to everybody, and he goes, we'll take care of your mom, whatever you want. He moves my mom over to the Balboa Bay Club, right on the bay, really prestigious club, and then until she can get settled, and then they got her apartment in Irvine. And I mean, you just couldn't have been nicer. And you go, you treat people nice, they'll treat you nice. And I still get, I don't want to call them fan letters, but they're nice letters that come to you, that people that I've treated. I walked into this one surf shop, or it was a guitar store one day, after I had moved back from Oklahoma, and it was a really cool little store. And I'm looking around, and the guy goes, are you Patrick Hannafin? I go, yeah. I used to have like real long hair. And he goes, I used to love your store so much, and I modeled my whole store after you. I took that as such a nice compliment. And I felt bad because a year later I drove by his store and it was out of business. I hope he didn't model it too much after me, but he was in a bad location. And anyway, so when you sell stuff, just be nice to people. Think about what you're selling ahead of time. Give it some research. Love the people that are going to buy it. Love the whole process. Make it all fun. Make it nice. Put a little note in there when you sell it, and thank the people again, and tell them why you liked it, and and give them the tracking number, and you'll be surprised. I mean, people are they can be so nice, but you have to be nice to them too. And people are going through a lot right now. You don't know what they could be going through. So just keep that in mind and treat everybody just the way you want to be treated. Like I always think of, like, you know, the trash, and you see a guy, he just drop his trash there, you know, and you just think, just pick it up, and I'll pick it up and put it in the trash for you. That's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind picking up trash. I mean, this is my country, and I grew up here, and I like people, and if I can help somebody some way, I will. And anyway, that's my thoughts for today, and I appreciate you watching my video, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.